feeling like I'm Akademiks.
How they gonna work the case? Everybody know I don't fuck with Cannon. Everybody know I don't fuck with Brick Bang. So if you want to arrest certain dudes, and put them next to me, them is the dudes you gonna have to call themselves turning against me. Well, ain't no turning against me.
So he's accusing them of snitching.
I ain't going for that. You might as well go get 600 and whack. These dudes been saying I did shit all year. So what they doing is they go on the internet and these dudes say that I did shit on the internet. Then when you say I did on the internet, they go investigate it. Now you raiding my houses, raiding my shops, raiding all this stuff. And talking about I'm committing crimes and covering up with developing option. What crimes am I committing to cover up with developing option?
Anyway.
Rap News Street, there's confidential informants, molded up the whole situation with Big U and Deja Vu, where it was said that Big U has shook down 30 racks out that situation. But the key thing, man, is who is Dale Morrison? Now, he's not only a rat, he's actually a club promoter, and I would say somewhat of an entrepreneur throughout the city. And the next question one may ask is, why Dale Morrison? Why was he being shook down? It seems like this dude is one of them guys playing all sides. Now, the key thing is Dale Morrison has been in the mix around all these dudes for a long time. Like I said, he's a club promoter, and anybody know these club promoters, they're the ultimate people person. But especially when you promoting black businesses, black clubs, black parties, you're gonna end up intertwining with the hood at some point, especially in LA. So we've seen Dale Morrison, not only with Big U, we've seen him with Nipsey, we've seen him with Gilly the Kid, Joe Moses. Like I said, this dude has been around everybody in the city, and we gotta put this out so nobody else falls into the games that this dude is playing. Now, the paperwork has painted him out to be a victim, and on the contrary, painted Big U to just be
that's
somebody
victim
that
one.
got him in a headlock. But Dale Morrison is actually playing his own games in these streets, man. So the key thing right now is Morrison is under his own federal indictment, which has nothing to do with any of these dudes in this indictment, with this Big U Rolling 60 situation. This dude had his feet in the streets, a full participant in the life of criminality. He's not just some weed shop owner that's trying to make a living and ends meet by playing it fair. This is the misconception of this whole situation. Now, the indictment that he's allegedly the main defendant on is a conspiracy with the intent to possess narcotics. Also possession with the intent to distribute narcotics.
Thank you, bro.
And the main key thing is the feds are alleging that Dale Morrison is using businesses in LA as fronts, including the same business that Big U was allegedly shaking down.
The weed
So
shop.
we've seen Morrison with multiple different businesses. MLB Investments and Holdings, M4 Morrison Media Marketing and Management, DMO 20 Consultants LLC, Everybody Eats, which is also synonymous with the Everybody Eats Genetics cannabis business, which he's affiliated with. Now, at the time when he was allegedly participating in the conspiracy, some of these businesses were operating off some high rises off Fig. Now, as of today, he's changed the addresses to these businesses. But in 2020, it's alleged that he was working with 4 other co-conspirators by the names of Jordan Jackson, Keyshawn Brandon, Brittany Duff, and Deja Purifoy. Now, everybody except for Keyshawn Brandon was operating in Ohio. Keyshawn Brandon, aka Keys, is said to be Morrison's bodyguard, or security, so to speak, that protects his criminal endeavors. And it's said that on July 25th, 2020, Keys was chaperoning around 7,000 grams of meth, approximately 2,000 grams of powder, and around 5,300 grams of weed from LA to Ohio, which is when they got pulled over. And somehow, some way, it comes out that this shipment came from Dale Morrison. Now, mind you, this is July 2020. In the Big U indictment, the feds said they didn't start watching Big U until February 2021, after the alleged murder committed by Big U in Nevada. But again, they was already watching the 6-0s in 2020, and they were able to track 8 USPS packages sent from Ohio to different addresses in LA, some in the 40s, a business in the Mansfields, and of course, a Addy in the 60s, where it said that around 150 racks had came from Ohio and touched down in LA, which the feds are alleging is proceeds that Morrison was receiving in this drug conspiracy. Now, 6 days after they got caught in that car, Morrison's house was hit July 31st, 2020, where it said this dude also had a bunch of weapons, but he wasn't fully taken in on this indictment until a year later, April 28th, 2021. But the Big U document alleges that he was a known extortion target since the beginning of their investigation on Big U. So as we see here in this Big U paperwork, it states victim 1 has a criminal history that includes arrest for narcotics conspiracy and distribution in violation of Title 21, Section 846, respectively, for which he is pending sentencing. It's still an open Fed case. He hasn't been sentenced. Why? Because he's using his telling on Big U in this indictment, in which it says that victim 1 will likely receive cooperation credit based on this case in his unrelated pending drug case from the United States Attorney's Office in the Southern District of Ohio. So this information right here is why there's no need for guessing. There's no need for allegations. There's a lot of bunk that's coming out. Is this dude snitching? Is he snitching? You know, people grasping at straws just for the content. The paperwork is telling us who these people are. Now, like I said, in the forecast, there are some snitches that's coming out, but you know, that's neither here nor there because we have to move factually when we talking about people as rats. And this is what I mean by this is a dirty character right here. He caught an unrelated Fed case before any of this situation and immediately started pointing fingers at the big fish because he's a little fish in the streets, but nonetheless, he's still in the streets. He's not some innocent victim just floating around getting a noogie on his head. You know what I'm saying? And then with that situation that they had at Deja Vu on Big U Party in 2021, he complained and snitched about Big U pressing him and the other promoter for 30 racks, but then he turns around the next year and still promotes his next party in 2022 at Cheetahs. This dude playing street games, but when the big fish come and collect, he want to point the finger now. But he got some even nastier work on his name. He's also been convicted of a robbery, and guess what? Human trafficking of a minor under the age of 18. Wow. Shit, I see why he's getting pressed. This is a weird dude in the streets. And it's also said that he has ties to Whack 100. We're gonna get to that though. Now, one can make the argument that Big U wouldn't even be under an investigation by the feds if it wasn't for this dude. Reason being is because the homicide that took place in Nevada was under investigation by the police in Nevada, not the feds. This dude comes along and now you have the full RICO where we're talking about money, extortion, and robbery being involved into a full enterprise with Big U. Now, along with CW1, Morrison also told the feds about the Adrien Broner situation. He had a recording on Big U when he sat down with him April 14th and April 15th of 2022. He was mic'd up when Big U was talking about the Adrien Broner situation. Now, like I said, this is the same person that Loose Cannon admitted to robbing. This is one of the main reasons why Loose Cannon is sitting down. Not only did Loose Cannon talk on the podcast, but what sealed his fate was the dude he robbed was working as an informant. So like I said, all he had to do was corroborate the story that Loose Cannon told as being factual. And of course, with him being the victim, it was extremely easy for Loose Cannon to get snatched up. Now, like I said, he was around all these dudes before this investigation popped off, and he was around all the way up to when they got hit. But in the Big U video, we also spoke about a time when the Nevada police had went to Big U's house to pay him a visit in regards to the murder that took place out there. We see Dale Morrison on the wiretap with them later on that night, giving extortion payments to Vay. And he also dug into multiple details to the feds about how Big U tried to get him to line up other weed dealers and other businesses in the city. But the key thing, this dude was making 25% off of the tape. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like this dude was just living the worst life possible. He got tired of being punked, and his run-in with the feds in the situation in Ohio has led to him becoming spooked, and he's using that to get from up under Big U's thumb. Like I said, we seen this dude with all the rappers, promoting all the parties. We seen him promoting Filthy Rich, everybody. This is not somebody you want to be around. I'm gonna keep it real. You never know who else he gonna throw up under the bus to lighten up that federal indictment that he got looming over his head. And it's one thing called a sentence memorandum. That memorandum right there breaks down everything in regards to your sentencing. You meet with the judge and they go over everything. All the people that's there for you in the courtroom, all the letters from your employers, your family, all the mitigating factors that you're using to try to get the judge not to send your ass all the way up the river. And like I said, at that point, that's when these cooperation credits are gonna take effect, and it's gonna drop his points down and lessen the blow of that offense. That document is still sealed and he's not sentenced yet. Mind you, this offense happened in 2020 and he went down in 2021. Here we are 4 years later. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get sentenced until after everybody in this Big U indictment is taken care of, because we may see this dude on the stand if anybody takes it to trial, which I'm highly doubting right now. But like I said before, this dude participated in countless wiretaps. It seemed like Vay and Big U stayed on this dude on the phone.
All right, man. All right. I'm Big U now, bro. Pause.